Well, it's been a little while since we've had an update on the Africa Twin. I've got about 3,500 miles on it now. I have done a few other things to it, so I'll give you a little walk around of the bike as it sits right now. I just drug it out of the shed after probably not riding it for about a month. The weather's been pretty rotten here, so not a lot happening in the motorcycling realm. So let's go ahead and pop the camera off the stand here and walk around the bike, and I'll give you a little rundown on what else I've done to the bike since you've seen it last. Firstly, I have installed the TourAttack high windscreen. That has done a lot to get the wind out of my face. It does have a little bit of optical distortion to it, as it's not a consistent, smooth curvature like the OEM windscreen. It didn't take me long to get used to that. There's not a whole lot to see through it, so I got used to that. Not been a big deal. There does still seem to be a little buffeting. You kind of feel it around the top of your head, but it's not too bad. A lot less wind in the face, so I will accept it. Next thing we have here, I did install Barkbusters. This is their kit for the Africa Twin. So you've got a drop bracket here to get it underneath your control cables. They do thread right into the factory handlebars. They do come with this bar end weight to replace the OEM unit. Everything fit as it should. Everything clears the controls. The other handguards I ran on my DR350 were more of a universal, but they weren't quite as wide, which could be nice. However, they came in tight enough where I had to run shorty levers on it, or you could whack off the ball on the end of the control. But these are a bolt-on kit for the Africa Twin, and they fit as expected. Along with that, I installed Oxford heated grips. I did have Oxford heated grips on my V-Strom. The controller started acting up on that, which ended up being kind of a known issue with getting moisture in them. This is kind of this is an updated control unit, so hopefully it won't have that problem. Again, everything installed pretty normally. It is a universal kit, not specifically for the Africa Twin. You do have to buzz off the end of the hand grips to clear the bar end weight and the Barkbusters, but not a big deal. They're set up to be able to whack the end of them off if that's the case. I did use some Renthal grip glue with this. They come with super glue, but I opted to just use some grip glue. On the left side, they're glued. The right side just felt tight enough when I slid it on that it wasn't going to move. I thought the same thing on my V-Strom when I put them on, but eventually, years later, I found that the grip was starting to twist over the throttle tube. Should that ever happen, I'll go ahead and press this back off and put some glue in it, but there is some kind of rubbery mold lines on the inside of this that, when I pressed it on there with some force, it felt like it was going to stay in place, and I'm not really worried about it for now. But if down the road it starts moving on the throttle tube, I will glue it. I installed a ram ball right on the clamps there. I kind of go back and forth between running my cell phone in their little X-Grip carrier and Garmin Organ 600. Previously I had installed the USB ports here. So I just have about a 3-foot USB cable I'll plug in there, kind of loop the extra around the handlebar, plug it into the phone or the GPS. I have switched over to using the Wolfman Enduro tank bag. Previously I was running the tank bag I used on my V-Strom, which is I think like a Motocentric brand. I could be wrong, but it was a magnetic tank bag. However, the magnetic tank bag just wasn't adhering to the metal tank very well, just the ears on it, the width of it, it just wasn't making good engagement. The Enduro tank bag was designed for Enduro bikes with a little steeper gas tank, and it fits really quite well on the Africa Twin. These straps, you can run these underneath the seat and then they'll just pop out right there. There is an X piece to run when you're not running with the tank bag attached. When I'm just running to work, a lot of the times I don't have the tank bag installed. Just clip it in place of the tank bag. So instead of taking your straps off all the time, I mean, it doesn't take long to take them off, but I usually just run it like this with just that little X in place. And you can snug it up a little bit, obviously. But it stays out of the way. Kind of utilitarian, but works for me. On the back end, I have installed the Mosko Moto Backcountry 35-liter panniers, soft panniers, to the SW Motec removable side racks. These are kind of a universal setup. They just clamp on the back. I've already got this latch released, so I can just yank it up. They are kind of snug sometimes. Got to go straight up with them. But that's the back end of it. It just notches on like so. Go ahead and reattach that. So it is an asymmetric set. The right side does hang off a few inches more than the left. However, I will probably be spacing out the left side, installing a tool tube here. The main reason I would do that is that the latch mechanism does not clear the grab handle. So you have to remove the whole side case, or this whole rack, in order to get the pannier off. Coming up before next season, I do intend to put a more robust skid plate on it and some crash guards on the side. I'm not sure which brand I'll go with. I mean, every day I'm sure there's more and more accessories for this thing. Since I do have SW Motec racks on it right now, I might just go ahead and do their skid plate and crash bars. Although you can mix and match whatever you want. So my friend and I did take these things on a little bit of a road trip. We went down from the Columbia Gorge here down to Crater Lake. I'd never been to Crater Lake before, so we did that all in one go. I didn't get any video that day, but it was pretty darn wet and miserable and cold. I really wish I would have had my heated grips then. That was one of the tipping points on whether or not I was going to put heated grips on this bike. That was a wet, soggy, and miserable day. So we made it down to Crater Lake, or Diamond Lake, right there near Crater Lake, where we stayed the night. Afterwards, the next day, it was very cold. There was frost around, thankfully not on the roads, but it was pretty darn chilly when we left. Again, really would have liked heated grips, but skies were clear and it didn't rain anymore. However, we did get down to Crater Lake and there was a bicycling event going on, so we couldn't actually ride the rim road all the way around Crater Lake. I would have liked to do that, but we rode what we could. Chatted with another guy there at the viewpoint about the Africa Twin, and we carried on. We rode down to Crescent City through some lovely roads down by Grants Pass, Medford area. Made it down to Crescent City, but this was a pretty short trip. A lot of distance, but not a lot of time. So we just rode down to Crescent City, got our selfie with the Pacific, and then we headed back up the coast. We rode 101 pretty much the whole way up to Astoria. Took a little bit of video along the way, but we didn't have much time to stop and do anything. So we stayed Newport, maybe. We stayed somewhere overnight and then carried back on up, rode all the way to Astoria and home. Unfortunately, short on time. We only had 3 days. Took a little bit of video, but we didn't really stop and see the sights. We just piled on the miles. The bike is pretty comfortable to ride that duration. The seat is a little firmer and narrower than like the previous bike, the V-Strom. I mean, it is narrower for being a dual sport adventure bike. It's kind of narrower between the legs there, but it is not quite as comfortable as the V-Strom. However, it was all right. So I have got about 3,500 miles on this bike. I wanted to get at least a few hundred miles on the OEM tires, just so I wouldn't feel like they were completely wasted. They do have plenty of tread left, but I think I am going to yank those off and run some Midas E07s, I believe. So it is off season right now. I'm working on some other projects. I've got my V8 Volvo that I'm going to try to jam together here, finish it up, make it drivable, hopefully within the next couple weeks. There is a road trip that I would like to do. If that doesn't work out, I will be working on a different Volvo for that road trip, almost equally untested, but not quite as sketchy. So that will probably be the content you'll be seeing on this channel until the weather clears up a bit more to get out on the Africa Twin again. So hope you'll stay around and check out the other projects I've got going on. But if you're here for the motorcycle stuff, I'll get out there again. But it's been kind of a rough winter, so a lot of snow and ice, but we've got a few more months to go here, so we'll see if I can sneak out. Heated grips will definitely help. Windscreen, make cold weather riding a little more tolerable. I've done it before, but I don't know, just not really feeling being cold this year. So stay tuned, see what else we can come up with. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, etc. I'm not sure at what rate I'll be putting out new videos, but I'm thankful for the amount of subscribers I've got so far. I'm flattered by all the interest in the Africa Twin, I guess, probably more so than me. But stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have some more adventures coming up for you.